he doesn't want a shortcut over the desktop, or we have to suppress few entries. Like in the control panel, we have certain applications, right? Like whenever you install any application, you would be able to see it into the control panel. So let me show you. So for an example, just take an example. This is a remote desktop application. So you can see the uninstall button is there, repair button is there. So as per the organization standard, it says that we have to suppress this button. Like uninstall button shouldn't be there, or a repair button shouldn't be there. There should be three buttons basically. For different application, it will be different. For an example, if I show you Orca, you would be able to see all the three, which is uninstall, change, and repair. So this all buttons we have to suppress. So few organization has a standard that they suppress this uninstall, change. Few organization has a standard that they suppress all the three buttons. Why we suppress it? So that the user will not have the control to do anything. Because if a user has an admin rights, they would be able to do that uninstallation, or they can repair the application. So that right should not be there with user. Along with that, we do a lot of customization. So when we will be going with this training, you will come to know that we do a lot of things which is not visible to the customer. Customer will not know. Everybody will think that what we are doing is very easy to do it, but it's something like we do a lot of customization along with the creation of files with respect, by taking the help of the tools. Along with that, we do a scripting also. So these are the minor thing which I had told you that we do it. Now, what is application packaging? Creating a new installer from scratch. So that installer, or you can say source file, or the binary, or the setup file, you can call anything. So that installer, a developer creates it, and that is known as application packaging. We also call it as a new standardized installer, bundling all components of an application, either it's an executables, libraries, configurations, into a single installable unit. So that exe will be there. For an example, that will also have certain types of files. The files can be of any types. It can be a .exe, which is executables. It can be a libraries, which is .dll. It can be a configurations, which is .config. So many types, different types of files or folders will be there, and that whole bundling of a files is termed as the source file. So when you're going to install that exe file, that file will be getting installed either in the program files, or a program files 86, or program data, or C drive. So if you see that folder, that will have a certain types of files. So you can also take an example of EMSI or an EXE. Both are will be considered as a setup file. So creating an MSI, which is a Microsoft installer packaging using any tools like Install Shield or Advanced Installer. So these are the certain tools through which developer creates it. Even we use the same tool. We also use the Admin Studio, which is a part of Install Shield, is a part of Admin Studio. So even we use the same tool when we are going to do the customization, when we are going to do the repackaging. Even developer use it. Just that the difference is developer use a different way to use it. We use a different way to do it. Now, what is application repackaging? It is a modifying an existing installer. Let me see. Recording is there. Yeah. So modifying an existing installer. So whatever the installer which will come, either an EXE or an MSI or the loose file, that you have to modify as per the customer requirement and organization standard. There will be few organization standard, and there will be few customer requirement. As per that, you have to customize. So customized installer, analyzing an existing installer, capturing changes made during installation, and then creating a new customized installer. That is called a repackaging. So basically modifying a Windows MSI package to include specific settings, features, or to remove unnecessary components. So this is something which is inside part of an MSI. So whenever we get an MSI, we call it as a vendor MSI. So when you are going to get any request where you got MSI file from the customer, so we call that as vendor MSI. So basically you are going to get three types of files. One is EXE, one is MSI, and another is loose file. Now I'll show you how the exe looks. You told me about MSI. So do you have any idea about exe?
Yes, I installed in exe as well, MSA
Okay.
as well.
So this is .exe. You can see the extension. It will have .exe. Then this is .msi. Now loose files will be in the form of files. Means like a folder will be there and that will have all the files. It will not have a main setup file. Like any .exe to install the application, that will be not there. So like you would not be able to install this application because it is a loose file. So there is a certain way to package it that I will tell you when we will be doing it, but it will be just in the form of loose files and folders. It will not like how you install an exe, double click on it, it will be next finish, and then we select some options and we install it, and then it becomes visible in the control panel, right? But for loose files it will not be that way. You have to copy that files in a certain folder, and like as per the organization to organization requirement, you can package this application via script, or you can capture the application. Like capturing the application is converting it .exe to .msi. Now I'll explain you the application packaging flow. Like first 2 days, we are just going to cover the technical theory part so that you can understand what actually we are going to do. And then mostly by tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will be starting with the packaging of exe application. So first I will cover the exe because that is the easiest, and then I will cover all the topics of MSI. There are lots of topics are there with respect to .msi. So this many topics, if I show you from the content, this many topics are of MSI. So once this is covered, then I will show you the practical of an MSI. And then at the end, we will be covering the scripts. Okay. Now application packaging flow. You're working now in which organization?
McLab, it's a small in organization.
MateLab.
Yeah,
So is it a product based or a service based?
service based.
So this is an application packaging flow now. With respect to the service based and product based, we have a little bit of difference. So that's the reason I asked whether you are working now in service based or product based. In product based, the packaging flow is little bit different, and in service it is different. So I will be explaining you both simultaneously. So first of all, when you are going to get any request, first of all, you can get a request either via ServiceNow. So when you're going to get a request via ServiceNow, it can be via RATM, it can be via service request, it can be a task, but it will not be an incident. Anything other than incident. Now, as per the request has come, it can also come via mail, it can also come via SharePoint, it can also come via Teams chat or any chat. So totally depends upon how the organization has done the agreement. So if it is coming, the request came to you. So now the request came, it is a requirement gathering phase. Now in the requirement gathering phase, you have to check certain things. First thing is you have to check whether that request has a document name as PRF. PRF stands for Package Request Form. It is also known as PIF, Package, excuse me, Package Information Flow. So it can be any of the things, like any of the document, either of these two. Most of the organization it calls as package request form. In few organization I have seen it calls as package information file. It can be with any other name. Basically the document will have all the details like whether that application is an exe or an msi, how you're going to install the application, what are the requirement that customer wants it, for how many maybe users that application is going to get deployed, how they want the deployment, all that information would be present in this document. Now I'll show you the document also, and I'll give it to you also the document once the training is completed. So once this document came to you, you have seen all the requirement. Along with that, you have to see whether the user has provided you the setup file or not. So there will be a server, packaging server, where we give a request, means like where we give access to every user so that they can upload the binary files. So any of the binary files, either the exe, MSI, or the loose file, that should be there. So these two requirement you have to check. One is the PRF, second is the source file. Now, then we will go to the second phase, which is an evaluation, also known as assessment, also known as smoke test. Now, in this phase, you have to install that application in your test VM as per the information that user has provided in the PRF. That PRF will also have the screenshot that how you have to install the application. Because you are a packager, you will not have a information about any application. You can package it, but how to install it, what and all option to select, it can vary from users to users. So that's the thing, user has to provide it in the PRF. So now the user has given you the document. You have to install that application. You have to launch the shortcut, and you have to see whether the application is working properly or not. If it is working properly, then you have to go to the next phase. This I am talking about the service phase. As I said, there is little bit modification in the product based. What happens in the product based? If that request came to your queue, you have to see whether that likewise application is present or not. So when I say likewise, for an example, you got a request of Mozilla Firefox, which is for browsing the web. If you have Google Chrome already present in your environment, then you are not going to package Mozilla Firefox. Rather, you are going to suggest the customer that we have the same likewise application, which is going to work with the same functionality. So please request you to install, like get that application and test it. Even if you say that, if you still say that it is required, then it will go for second level of approval. So second level of approval, then upper level of approval, it will go because every application requires a manpower. Along with that, you have to maintain that application, like maybe every 6 months or maybe every 3 months, 4 months, you have to keep on updating that application. So obviously, updating an application means upgrading the version. You have to keep a packager, so that will involve the cost, money, and everything. So that's the reason in product based, we do not go ahead with packaging of every application because it's a product based. We will be working for it for our own company. In service based, we work for another client. So for every application, we are being paid in the service based. So we never say no in the service based because for every package there will be a certain cost. So we package every application in the service based, but in product based, we have few limitations. If it is a likewise application, we are not going to package. So if there is no likewise application, then the process will be same. You have to go ahead with the packaging process. Now, with respect to the packaging process, like there is a different way to package exe, there's a different way to package MSI, and there's a different way is to package the loose files. So as per that, you have to see how you have to package it, and then you have to go ahead with the deployment. Either it is an SCCM deployment or Intune deployment, whatever will be the requirement, as per that you have to go ahead with it. Then the next phase is QA. Now in the QA, we also called it as peer-to-peer review. This is a quality testing of the application. So in few organizations, we have a QA team wherein they are going to test your application. Like they are going to see everything, like whether you have packaged the application as per the PRF or not, whether the deployment you have created that is properly done or not, installation, uninstallation, that should be proper installation and uninstallation, all that thing they are going to check into the QA. Maybe you will have a QA team. If there is no QA team, then we do peer-to-peer review. This means that if you are going to do the packaging, and if I am there in your team, the senior person, then I am going to test your package. So somebody has to do that. Should be a senior person. So that is called either you can say QA or peer-to-peer review. For this also there is a document which one section packager has to fill, or another person, whoever who will be doing the QA, that person has to fill it. So once QA is done, then it will be sent to the either the SCCM team or the Intune team, or if you are only the responsible person to do the pilot and means like to do the deployment also, then you only have to do the pilot and production testing. Now in the pilot testing, we do the testing for 10% of the users. So for an example, that application has to go to 100 of users. So out of 100, for 10 users, you are going to do the pilot testing. You have to take a confirmation from all that 10 users. Once they will go ahead that yes, package is working perfectly, then you are going to do the production. This means that rest of the 90 users, you are going to do the deployment. So this is the overall process of pilot and production users. Now, with respect to some companies, how they do it, whether they get a request via IATM or a service request, then they are going to raise change. And with respect to change only, they are going to work. So this is optional. Raising a change is optional. It totally depends upon organization to organization how they are going to do. Now, if you have any questions with respect to packaging flow, then you can go ahead and ask.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So now I will show you the PRF document. Then I will show you the QA document. So as I said, QA document, one section packager has to fill, other section QA person has to do. And total 3 documents I will show you. And the third document is the complexity document. So whenever you're going to get a package, that is categorized into 3 phases: simple, medium, and complex. So how you're going to decide whether that application is a simple or a medium or a complex. So as per the certain criteria are there, as per that you are going to decide it. So as per the complexity, there is an SLA also. SLA stands for service level agreement. This means that for an example, you got a simple application, then you have to complete that package within 3 days. Means 1 to 3 days you have to complete. If it is a medium, then 3 to 5 days. If it is a complex, then it is 5 to 10 days. So different company will have different SLA, but mostly they are going to follow this only. Maybe for simple they can make it 4 days, or for a medium they can do 6 days, or complex 12 days, but it will be something around this only. So this 3 document I'm going to show you. Before that, I'll tell you one more thing. So for an example, we are going to get any application. You are going to install that application. So certain format is there when you are going to get a request. Same format, customer has to fill it for the PRF also, which is the package request form. So for an example, this is the FileZilla application. Okay. So this is your application name, FileZilla. This is your publisher, TeamCourse, and this is your version 3.681. So first of all, you have to install that application and you have to get the information of the publisher, of the application name and the version. So the format says first is vendor name. Vendor name, also known as publisher name or a manufacturer name, which you can easily get it from the control panel. Then the second is software name. Software name, you can also call it as application name or the product name. So that after vendor name, you have to give underscore, and then you have to give software name. Then you have to give version. Version also you can get it easily from the control panel. Then architecture. Architecture is optional. Few company does write it, few company doesn't write it. So architecture is basically, if it is a 64-bit application, you have to write x64. If it is a 32-bit application, you have to write x86. This will be mentioned in the setup file itself. So if I show you for FileZilla, mostly we package 64-bit only, but yeah, sometimes you may get 32-bit. For an example, you can see 64, Win64. If it is, you can see for VLC, both is there, Win64, Win32. So if the user is going to give you 32, you have to write x86. If it is a 64, then you have to write x64. Then is the language. Now again, language is also optional. Few organization does write it, few organization doesn't write it. For an example, if you're working in a project which is working globally, then in that case they say to write a language. So if you're going to package for English, we give EN. For an example, you're going to package it for Finland, then the language will be FI. but this all things will be given by the customer in that PRF. You don't have to remember, because we cannot remember every country language. So that information customer has to give it. If the customer doesn't give it in the PRF, then you can ping them and ask them what is your language code, and accordingly you can write it. And then is the revision. Now revision, again, it can be of different format as per different organization. In my package, I always give this as a revision R00. It can be R1, it can be R0, it can R1.0, or it can be P10. It can be of any format. Why do we write a revision? The reason is, for an example, you got a package, you did a package. So first time you did the package, you have to give R00. Now you did the package as per the SLA, it went for pilot testing. So after the pilot testing, customer found that he missed to give some information. So it was not your mistake, rather customer missed to give some information. Now again, he's going to send that application to you saying that I have missed it, but you have already packaged that application as per the SLA. Now you're going to give the second effort, right? So obviously SLA should be there. Then only you would be able to give the second effort. In that case, the release version is going to increase when you're going to do the customization. Again, it will be a minor customization only. But if for the same package with the same version, if you are going to do even a minor customization, you have to increase the release version. So you have to make it as R01. If it is R00, you have to make it R01. The same way you have to keep on increasing the version if it is coming multiple times. This scenario is a very rare scenario, but yes, sometimes we do get such scenarios. Out of 100 applications, maybe for 5 applications, it happens that user doesn't give the information at that time, and while testing, maybe at the during the testing phase, they found that, yeah, okay, I forgot to give this information. So obviously second effort, even the SLA will be running, so you are going to package that application again, so you are going to increase the release version. Okay, now I'll show you the PRF. So this is a PRF document. I will be giving you the document once the training is completed. All these 3 documents along with this presentation also, I will give it to you. This has all the contents which I'm going to cover. So the first details the customer has to give is the application owner contact details. So the basic details customer has to give his full name, he has to give his address, phone number, location, business unit, target operating system, whether he wants the package for Windows 10 or Windows 11, because now Windows 11 has also come to the market. Most of the organization, either they are just going with Windows 10 or they are going with both. So if that is the case, then user has to give this section, has to fill this section. Then in the application information, he has to give the vendor name. All this information he can find it by installing the application, and this information he can give it from the control panel, which is the vendor name, product name, version number, short description. Like for an example, Google Chrome for browsing use. So whatever will be the usage of that application, that information customer can find it and he can give it to. He can fill it in this PRF. Then the application language. So in the application language, what, as I said, whatever will be the language, customer has to give. If it is English, he can click on it. If it is any other than English, then he has to give that site code, language code he has to give. Now package source type, whether it is an MSI or it is a non-MSI. So if it is a loose file or an EXE, he has to click on non-MSI. If it is just an MSI, he has to click on MSI. So you can customize this document as per the organization requirement. Installation document or screenshot provided? Yes, no. So there is a section here wherein customer has to give the installation documents, installation steps, like how the application will be getting installed, that steps he has to provide. And the test plan steps is something like after installing the application, how the customer will how you have to launch the application and see whether the application is working or not. That thing you have to provide it in the, that thing customer has to provide it in the test plan steps. Then application type, upgrade or new application. If an application is coming newly to your organization, that will be considered as new application. If the application is coming, like for an example, you already have a Google Chrome version 1, now version 2 is going to come, then it will be an upgrade. So you have to uninstall the previous version and you have to install the new version. So that will be considered as an upgrade application. Software dependencies. Maybe that application has any prerequisite like Microsoft .NET framework or C++, Visual C++. So anything. So if the application prerequisite is already existing in your environment, then you can easily add it via deployment, right? In Tune deployment, we have an option to add the dependencies. Even in the SCCM, we have it if you're going to create it via application mode.